Hello, and welcome to Conscious Curiosities, where we unlock the wisdom of the universe which lies within us. I'm your host, Maria Luz, an astrologer, psychic medium, and hypnotist. I've been talking about the energy of 2026 for the last few weeks, and today is the fourth installment. I was all ready to talk about the energy of Leo because not only do we have the lunar nodes moving onto the axis of Leo and Aquarius, but we have Jupiter moving into Leo in the middle of the year. I was all ready for that. And then I looked at my little note about the key events this year, and I realized that I would have skipped over Uranus moving into Gemini. And that is just so on brand for Uranus because it is the disruptor. It's the great disruptor. And yeah, I even had like a book here. I was going to read a quote about about Leo energy and everything, but then I was surprised by Uranus. So I'm going to talk about that, and then in the next episode, I'll talk about Leo energy, which will wrap up this little series on the 2026 energy. Okay, so Uranus has been in the sign of Taurus since about 2018, 2019, because it was also doing, some retrograde between the between Taurus and between Taurus and Aries at that time. So now it's been in this very fixed Earth energy of Taurus. And on April 25th, it's going to be entering this very air, quick sign of Gemini. That's a mutable sign, as opposed to the previous energy, which was very fixed. And as you can imagine, air is already quite mutable, and it's especially that way in the sign of Gemini. So we have this planet, which I mentioned is the great disruptor. Another way to look at it is just as a surprise, a sudden aha moment that comes along, and it's it's meant to show us where things just are not working in our highest and best good anymore, even where we've been comfortable in that way, even where we've just taken it as furniture, immovable, and it comes in whether external or internal, and it just brings this either internally restlessness that cannot be ignored until that that itch is scratched, or external situation where you're forced into a change. Now, with any of these outer planet transits, they are always the conditions and the reflection of what's going on down here. So remember, we're always co-creating because we have free will. And so we can look at this energy, and knowing how it behaves, we can either choose to work with it for our highest good, or maybe resist, which, given all of these astounding astronomical meetups that we haven't seen for a very, very long time, in these exact positions, resisting seems like maybe it's not even possible. So I bring that up because Uranus is also very much related to the midlife crisis. Because when Uranus is exactly opposite your natal Uranus, that's at about age 42. And I know midlife is maybe being pushed, or maybe maybe it's adolescence that's being extended, um, or yeah, or even before that. But regardless, it is associated with this time of life when you've established yourself, but then maybe you figure out that you haven't honored yourself, or life shows you that in some way. And so this is going to be this energy um, of this disruptor is going to be in Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury. And so what that is an even greater sense of restlessness and inability to focus and being distracted, um, especially by communications and uh, and technology, digital types of technology. So that not only will that intensify, because I think, as I was pausing as I said that, because I'm sure people are thinking, well, that's already present. Like we already have this lack of focus and lack of attention. And that is so true. However, it's going to be making this relationship with Pluto, because Pluto is in another air sign of Aquarius, that is the fixed air energy. And so it concentrates things, and Pluto intensifies as well, just by its nature. So that is interesting. How can this type of energy, I think we all kind of feel already like fried by, how can that possibly be intensified or concentrated? So that, again, it's a partly, I would say, up to us as individuals to decide what's within our power to manage and what is not. So I think we should all, therefore, have a management plan for what's within our control. And I think things like grounding, having a way to get out of our heads into our bodies, into nature regularly, will help us navigate, manage that intensified, quick air energy that is going to be prevalent. And I think the other thing is just being very intentional, because again, it's a very distracted energy. So being intentional about how and what we prioritize. And I will leave it there for this week. And as always, if you want to set up your personal reading with me, you can find out how to do that on the website. It's marialuz.online. And I'd also love to hear from you. You can email me info@marialuz.online. Have a wonderful week.